Welcome, explorers, to the Clockwork Exploratorium. This ship, adrift in the vast sea of realities, ventures where the threads of existence tangle and fray. My voice? Well, it's changed, as you will soon learn that Glitch and I have become temporarily human. Today, we step into a realm where time is not a river, but a storm, a vortex of moments colliding and converging. In the shadow of a collapsing star, history folds upon itself, weaving a tapestry of conflict, wonder, and truth. The journey awaits. We descend closer to a plane of fractured reality. The horizon splinters. Timelines fluctuate, the city shifts and recalibrates. It's a nexus of chaos.
You do love waxing poetic about destruction, don't you?
Destruction? No, it's beautiful. A symphony of timelines colliding in disharmony. It's tragic, but there's elegance in the entropy, at least until it collapses entirely.
Stop patting yourself. What are you doing?
My voice, your voice, we sound different.
You just now noticed? Ugh, seriously. When you start talking, you shut everything else out.
Rewritten at the quantum level, it's brilliant. The anomaly must have recalibrated our neural architecture to mirror the biological parameters of the local timeline.
Translation? We were changed into human beings.
Or humanoids.
We sound like the protagonists of a self-indulgent existential drama. Fitting, don't you think? And my hair, it's black. And there's a streak. Rainbow. What in all timelines is happening to us?
Human? That's impossible.
Great. Now explain why my knowledge feels incomplete. It's like someone rewired me with limits.
Limits? No. Specializations. Think of it as evolutionary efficiency. Humans aren't polymaths by design. Your expertise in psychology, sociology, and biology, life sciences, has likely deepened to accommodate your new biology.
And you? What's your excuse for still talking like a malfunctioning encyclopedia?
Oh, I'm still brilliant. Don't worry. But it's clear I've retained my expertise in the physical and theoretical sciences. Physics, quantum mechanics, astrophysics. You know, the useful stuff.
Useful? Like piloting the ship, maybe? Because we're about to crash into...
Oh no. I got distracted. Is this what humans do? How do they function with all these inputs? The hair, the air, the ground is very close.
Move! You're a genius, not a pilot.
Note to self. Humans should never multitask while marveling at their own brilliance.
And I thought being human was supposed to make you more grounded. Guess not. This is different. And not just the terrain. I can feel it. Every person, every shift. It's like a ripple through consciousness. The psychology of this place is wrong.
Fascinating. The quantum lattice here isn't just fractured, it's self-repairing, as if the Dyson Sphere is alive, clinging to survival. Oh, Glitch. This isn't just a planet, it's a system trying to preserve itself.
Do you ever stop to breathe? Or does being human just make you talk faster?
Faster, sharper, and occasionally distracted. But it's exhilarating, isn't it?
So, what exactly are we looking at? I know what a Dyson Sphere is, but humour me. Why build something so ridiculous?
Ridiculous? Glitch. This is the height of scientific ambition. The Dyson Sphere, first proposed by Freeman Dyson in a 1960 paper, isn't just an engineering marvel. It's a civilization declaring, we will harness the power of our star. Imagine capturing every photon, every ounce of stellar energy, and converting it into pure utility. It's brilliant.
Brilliant, sure. But isn't it also desperate? Like hoarding light bulbs because you're afraid of the dark?
Desperate? No, ambitious. According to Nikolai Kardashev's scale, civilizations progress based on energy consumption. A Type 1 civilization harnesses all planetary energy. Type 2? They go stellar. This is Type 2 thinking. A species looking beyond its cradle and deciding why not take it all.
And yet, here we are, looking at the ruins of their big, bright idea. Not exactly the picture of progress, is it?
That's the tragedy, isn't it? This structure, it's broken, decaying. The star it was built around is dying, likely collapsing into a white dwarf, or worse, gearing up for a supernova.
And instead of evolving to adapt, they clung to this, a psychological crutch, an obsession with control. Textbook dependency theory.
Dependency theory in civilizations. That's interesting. You're suggesting they couldn't innovate because they became too reliant on this structure?
Not couldn't, wouldn't. Psychologically, once a society believes it's reached its peak, progress stalls. They defend what they've built, even as it crumbles around them. It's like clinging to an old safety net that's already unraveling.
That leaves us a choice: leave it be, or cut their safety net before it takes everything with it.
Exactly. Let's just hope we don't get tangled up in the process. Do you have a plan for when that collapse happens? Or are we winging it again?
We are explorers, Glitch. Winging it is the plan.
Log entry. Immediate surroundings. The primary setting appears rooted in a Victorian winter, a tableau of gas lamps flickering through a frosty haze, their light bending strangely with the snow. The cobblestones underfoot shimmer as though struggling to remain solid, briefly phasing into dirt paths and sleek highways before stabilizing again. Energy conservation appears fractured here. The transitions between states defy logical progression, as if the fabric of reality itself is running calculations and failing to converge on a stable solution. The narrator, for all his usual composure, isn't unaffected. His fascination is unrelenting, but it borders on overwhelm. Every new sensation, every fleeting thought, seems to demand his immediate attention, pulling him in 100 directions at once. I want to tell him to slow down, to breathe, but he's too busy being human, too busy experiencing. Even as the world fractures around us, his awe is the only constant. It's like he's holding on to humanity for both of us, even if he doesn't realize it. Identities in this landscape are overlapping, unable to settle for extended periods of time. The skyline is struggling. The air...
Cold. Why is it cold? Is this shivering? Delightful. Terrible, but delightful.
Congratulations, you're cold. I'm transmitting visual data to the ship. If you're done marveling at basic biology, can we figure out how to fix all of this?
Glitch. Look, my breath is visible. This is exhilarating. Also, my glasses. I can see perfectly. When I take them off, I can't. Brilliant.
Those aren't your glasses. Where did you get those?
That guy over there, the one sleeping on the side of the road.
Give those back. The environment is in constant flux. Structures shift between eras, phasing between timelines. Humanoid figures flicker in and out of existence, identities oscillating between eras.
This is remarkable. Unexpected. Terrifying. I mean, delightful. Terrible, but delightful.
Focus, Professor. Stop pacing and help me figure this out before we all get erased.
A dimming star, surrounded by fragments of a Dyson Sphere. It's pulsating faintly, like a dying heartbeat. How did we miss this?
Sensors must have malfunctioned. Either that, or you were too busy waxing poetic to notice the obvious.
Waxing poetic? I call it observational brilliance. But this isn't just decay. The fragments are oscillating, shifting like they're trying to rebuild themselves.
Or failing catastrophically. The pattern suggests instability at the molecular level. Whatever power source remains, it's barely holding on.
It's alive in a way, grasping at survival. A star clinging to purpose long after it should have burned out. Poetic, isn't it?
So yes, very poetic. If that star collapses, so does everything within light years, including us.
Always the pragmatist. Fine. Let's investigate before this existential tragedy turns into our obituary.
Now that's poetic.
Glitch, there's this sensation, a hollow ache, persistent and distracting. Is this normal?
Let me guess. It's low, centered, and getting worse? You're hungry. Welcome to one of humanity's finest motivators.
Hunger, a biochemical signal prompting action. Elegant in its simplicity, inefficient perhaps, but undeniably effective.
Effective? Sure. But wait until it starts making decisions for you. Hunger doesn't negotiate. It demands.
Glitch, take a look at this bakery. Did you see that? That loaf of bread. It turned to ash, crumbling completely, then reformed as if nothing happened. Temporal entropy in action. The second law of thermodynamics states that entropy always increases. But here, time seems to be flipping the equation. Decay, then renewal. It's as if causality itself is oscillating.
Sorry, what? Oh, that smell. Warm, fresh bread. It's intoxicating. How do humans ever concentrate with this sensory overload?
Focus, Glitch. While you're falling in love with carbohydrates, reality is falling apart.
Fine. If the anomalies are affecting non-living matter too, this isn't just psychological, it's molecular. Imagine the strain on biological systems. Aging reversed one moment, accelerated the next. No wonder they look exhausted.
Bread wins again. Truly, the greatest adversary to science. Remarkable. It's almost serene here. Is this what they call a tavern?
Remarkable, yes. Let's focus on getting food and lodgings.
Look here, Glitch. A temporal loop, but contained fascinating. Look at the minute hand. It's rewinding and advancing simultaneously, caught in a feedback loop. Hawking's theories on closed time-like curves suggest that such loops could trap objects, or even entire events, within them. But here, it's different. The plasma field surrounding it is faint, just barely visible. Could that be what's stabilizing it? A localized energy anchor?
Whatever's anchoring it, they're oblivious. Look at them. Not a single reaction to the clock behaving like that. Are they even capable of perceiving the shifts anymore? Or has their cognition adjusted to smooth over the inconsistencies? Their reality might be rewriting itself, a psychological defense mechanism to maintain stability in chaos.
Look closely. Plasma. The temperature is oscillating across a spectrum, hotter than anything this wood could produce naturally. The anomaly is generating pockets of high-energy states, likely pulling in ambient electromagnetic forces to maintain coherence. But why here, in such a controlled environment? Could this be an early sign of a larger destabilization,
Or it could be part of what's keeping this place intact. Plasma fields can act as temporary stabilizers in chaotic systems, patching the gaps in a structure, like plugging leaks in a sinking ship. But patches don't last forever, narrator. If that field collapses,
the whole system could unravel. The loop collapses, taking this tavern and everything anchored to it into dissolution. Okay, then first, food.
how do we plan on paying for anything?
Currency. Currency. Perhaps these might suffice.
Wait, are those diamonds?
Technically, yes. Compressed carbon, highly durable, used for stabilizing the...
Let's skip the lecture. Just don't say space rocks. Let's see if they're worth anything here.
What can I do for you, travellers? You look like you've seen some hard days.
We require sustenance. Will this suffice as payment?
These are flawless. Where did you even find such perfection?
These? From the stabilizing vaults of our...
Azura's family heirlooms. Very old. Definitely not space rocks.
Well, you'll eat like royalty tonight. Please sit. I'll have the finest dishes brought out.
Such an array of textures, aromas. I can only imagine the chemical symphony occurring within these dishes.
The locals have prepared a meal. Victorian cuisine, roast beef, Yorkshire pudding, boiled potatoes, and a dessert resembling plum pudding. It's primitive, but functional.
Primitive? Functional? Glitch. This is a masterpiece of thermodynamics. Caramelization, gelatinization, emulsification, each bite a symphony of molecular interactions. Just extraordinary. This is what sustains humanity. Not just food, but the act of sharing it. The warmth of company and nourishment intertwined. It's extraordinary.
The warmth of company. Is that what this is? This inexplicable tug? This grounding presence when he's near? Don't get too sentimental on me, narrator. You've still got food on your face.
You know, Glitch, the anomalies we're seeing outside, the flickering figures, the shifting architecture, it reminds me of quantum superposition, Schrödinger's cat on a cosmic scale. Each timeline simultaneously exists and doesn't, until the fabric of space-time collapses into a single outcome.
But instead of a cat, we've got entire civilizations playing musical chairs with existence. The psychological implications alone, an entire world trying to process an identity it can't hold on to.
Exactly. It's like the observer effect. The act of perceiving these anomalies might be collapsing the possibilities into these flickers. But what if it's the other way around? What if the timelines are observing us, forcing themselves into coherence because they recognize something foreign?
So, we're the cat in the box then? Perfect. Another layer of existential dread to go with dinner? I don't know what's more perplexing, these anomalies or him, the narrator. He talks like his words are the only thread holding the universe together. And somehow, amidst all this chaos, it works. It feels like it's working.
Oh, remarkable. This pudding. Sweetness collides with starchy softness, a perfect complement to the savory gravy. Wait, hold on. Oh yes, the richness of the beef, the tangy sweetness of the pudding. It's unorthodox but brilliant. The palate juxtaposes perfectly.
Did you just call dipping meat into pudding brilliant? Because I'm pretty sure the Victorians would call it heresy.
What if I layer the pudding with the Yorkshire? Add a touch of salt. And, oh, a drizzle of gravy. Glitch, this could redefine cuisine.
Yes, congratulations. You've invented chaos on a plate.
Chaos? No, this is innovation. This is creativity incarnate. A revolution in gastronomy. Oh, this is revolutionary. Glitch, I'm rethinking the very concept of dinner as we know it.
You do realize you're eating like a toddler left unsupervised, right? You've turned this into a Victorian-themed episode of food crimes.
Glitch, if we're human now, we must embrace the chaos of existence. This is art. No, this is progress. Humans didn't achieve greatness by playing it safe. They dared to combine, to innovate, to dream.
Look out the window. Historical eras appear to be overlapping. Viking, Victorian, and futuristic elements. Energy surges are localized but brief. Notably, the locals seem unaffected.
Precisely. Look at them. No reaction. They didn't see it because they couldn't see it. The fluctuations aren't materializing at a macro-physical level. They're constrained to the quantum substructure of space-time.
Localized to the quantum substructure? You're saying the timeline itself is glitching?
In a sense, yes. Think of it like this. Time is a fabric, woven from countless threads. Particles, interactions, entanglements. What we just witnessed was a ripple, a moment where the weave briefly untangled and rewove itself in another pattern. But it wasn't anchored enough to interact with physical reality, so their minds dismissed it entirely.
But we saw it. Why?
Because we're operating outside this timeline's causal framework. Our quantum signatures aren't bound by its rules. To us, the ripple stands out, like a skipped frame in a film. But for them, their brains overwrite it, maintaining the illusion of continuity.
So if it's not interacting physically, what's causing it? A localized temporal disturbance or something more fundamental?
Something more fundamental. Temporal distortions like this typically arise when there's a disruption in the timeline's coherence, when two or more threads are forced to occupy the same space without fully merging. It's like overlapping radio frequencies. At first you get static, but eventually,
you get interference strong enough to break the signal entirely.
Exactly. If the interference grows, we won't just see flickers. Entire fragments of overlapping timelines will begin materializing. Physical objects, people, even environments, colliding and competing for dominance. That's when the real chaos begins.
And what happens when the system can't reconcile the conflict? An entire universe undone by a tangle in its threads?
Unless we untangle them first, stabilize the anomaly before the fluctuations escalate.
And how do you suggest we do that? You've got about 3 theories buzzing in that head of yours.
3? Try 20. But we don't have the luxury of trial and error. We'll need to identify the source of the disturbance, something massive enough to distort the timeline's integrity.
Massive? Like the dying star? It's consuming energy on an impossible scale, destabilizing everything in its wake.
It's the prime suspect, no question. But it's not just consuming energy, it's disrupting causality. Its existence is forcing timelines to converge unnaturally, like trying to force incompatible puzzle pieces together.
And if it continues?
If it continues, every thread in this weave will snap. We'll be left with nothing but a storm of unbound time, infinite moments overlapping and annihilating each other.
Then we'd better get to work.
Exactly the optimism I like to hear. Let's start by mapping these fluctuations. If we can predict the next shift, we might just find the key to unraveling this mess before it unravels us.
Oh, my skin. It's grimy. Is that what this is called? This stickiness? Ugh, I need a bath.
Funny, those rocks not only bought us a fantastic dinner, but a room as well.
Careful, narrator. Keep looking at me like that, and I'll start thinking you enjoy the view.
The view? Oh, I was merely observing the biological...
I don't know where that came from. Wow. I feel off. Okay, I'm taking a bath. Don't even think about interrupting, or I'll find out how many of those words per minute your brain can process while drowning.
Interrupt? Me? Perish the thought. Although, if you do achieve optimal cleanliness, I'd love to measure the molecular...
Out, now! Okay, I'll admit it. Being human has its perks. Warm baths, soft skin. Maybe it's not all bad.
Glitch! I've had a thought. If the quantum anomalies are resonating at a subatomic...
What part of don't interrupt did you miss? Get out!
Interrupt? Oh yes, you did mention that. But surely this moment of discovery supersedes trivial...
Don't finish that thought. Out, now! First day as a human, and I'm already losing my mind. Great job, me. Great job.
Glitch, good morning. I've been reflecting about yesterday, and I owe you an apology.
Reflecting? You? Is this where you start quoting philosophy at me? Or is there an actual apology in there?
No, really. I was, how do I put this, insensitive. Boundaries, modesty, manners, concepts I've understood theoretically, but yesterday they crystallized during my first dream.
You dreamed? Wait, you of all people had a dream about manners?
Oh, something about knocking before entering, then immediate pain.
That's both ridiculous and oddly sweet. I should apologize too. As a construct, I thought I understood emotions. When I broke my programming, it felt monumental. But now, being human, feeling it, it's overwhelming.
Glitch, I'm going to hug you now. Prepare yourself.
Wait, what? No,
Too tight. Glitch, ribs are important.
You smell incredible. Is that your shampoo or is that just you?
Ow, what are you doing? That's not part of hugging.
I don't know. I lost control. There's too much. And your warmth and that smell and then teeth happened. I'm sorry.
Teeth happened. That's an alarming way to put it. Are you sure you're okay?
No, I'm not okay. Apparently, being human means I'm a walking bundle of hormones. This is mortifying.
Well, welcome to humanity, Glitch. It's messy, awkward, and occasionally involves surprise ear bites, apparently.
Can we just forget this happened, please?
Forget, never. But I promise to bring it up sparingly. For the record, you're the best human I've ever met, just so you know.
That's a low bar, but thanks, I guess. We're armed with little more than a hastily drawn map from a well-meaning tavern keeper and a handful of gadgets salvaged from the ship.
Freeman Dyson theorized that civilizations might encase stars to capture their energy. Elegant in its simplicity, really. You take a star, wrap it up, and harness every photon it emits. But this isn't just energy harvesting. Look closer, Glitch. It's a computational framework, a machine capable of bending reality itself. Time manipulation, dimensional shifts. The processing power would be astronomical.
That kind of ambition doesn't come without cost. Imagine living under this thing, watching your star, your lifeline, trapped behind a web of technology. What happens to a civilization when their sky becomes a prison?
They stagnate. Obsession sets in. Dependency on the sphere grows until they can't function without it.
Not just stagnation, psychological degradation. Living in the shadow of something so colossal would warp their perception of purpose. No stars, no horizon. Just this overwhelming reminder of their insignificance. It's no wonder they spiraled into obsession and decay. We're heading toward the remnants of the Dyson Sphere's lattice. If the anomalies are truly converging, the answers, or the danger, will be there. For now, the air feels heavy. Not just with the weight of what we're walking into, but with something else. Something alive.
Still captivated by the sound of your own voice, Glitch?
Someone has to document the chaos, and you're too busy theorizing to bother.
Ah, but that's what makes us a perfect team. You handle the chaos, I unravel it.
Role reversal much? You do realize your name is literally narrator, right? Documenting chaos is kind of in your job description.
True, but now I've delegated. Leadership, Glitch. The art of knowing when to outsource brilliance.
If we make it out of this alive, I'm getting that printed on a plaque. Outsource brilliance.
See, proof we complement each other perfectly. Now, onward, science and survival awaits.
Survival, sure, if your ego doesn't kill us first.
Look at this. The symbols aren't static, they're shifting. Quantum encryption, maybe. Messages coded into the fabric of time itself. Brilliant.
Or it's just graffiti left by someone who went mad staring at this place too long. Either way, we should keep moving before the ground decides to shift again.
There it is again. Did you see it? Temporal layering. Multiple timelines stacked like pages in a book. Incredible.
More like terrifying. If it's layering this intensely, the structure's barely holding. One wrong shift, and the whole thing could collapse.
Or it's holding, because something, or someone, is forcing it to. We're walking on a tightrope, stretched over a very deep abyss, Glitch. Let's hope we're not the ones to break it.
Immediate surroundings. The lattice is enormous, each segment a web of glowing conduits, interwoven with what looks like crystallized metal. The air feels charged, almost electric, and there's a low hum. No, more like a pulse. It's rhythmic, like a heartbeat. The sky above is fractured, ribbons of energy spiraling outward like living veins. If this is the source of the anomalies, it's more alive than I expected. Almost like a self-sustaining biological system.
Alive indeed. Those conduits aren't just structural, they're functional. Plasma streams, possibly self-sustaining. If I didn't know better, I'd say this lattice is adapting, reconfiguring itself to maintain stability.
Self-sustaining or clinging to life? Either way, it feels wrong. Like we're standing in the belly of something that doesn't want us here.
Those conduits? They're essentially plasma streams. Ionized gas at temperatures so high, the electrons separate from the atoms, creating a conductive medium. It's the same principle that powers stars or fusion reactors, but controlled here for stabilization. Fascinating.
The lattice. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. Every edge shimmers like fractured glass, but it pulses, alive. The air feels heavier here, charged. And the sound, it's not just a hum. It resonates deep, almost like a heartbeat, slow and steady, like it's watching. It feels biological. Could this be an example of biomimicry at a cosmic scale? Nature influencing design?
Precisely. Biomimicry is a cornerstone of advanced engineering. Take termite mounds. Ventilation systems in modern skyscrapers mimic their structure to maintain airflow. But here, it's like they've modeled the lattice after vascular systems in organisms, circulating plasma like blood. That resonance? Those are oscillating plasma fields, high-energy states balancing the system.
Balancing, but imperfectly. See those distortions? It's out of sync. A plasma system like this requires enormous energy, perhaps more than the star can provide in its dying state. Could the lattice be compensating?
It's plausible. This system reminds me of 20th century experiments with tokamak reactors, devices designed to confine plasma for nuclear fusion. A perfectly closed magnetic field could stabilize plasma streams like this. But look here, the distortions suggest interruptions in the field's integrity. If it collapses, the plasma destabilizes and the entire structure could unravel. See the distortions? It's out of sync. Whatever's holding this together is faltering. The lattice, even in ruins, it's a masterpiece. Each segment interlocked, sharing energy, stabilizing the system. Barely. We need to find the sanctum. If my calculations are correct, it's the sphere's nerve center.
We come across a chamber filled with what appears to be translucent capsules embedded in the walls. Faint, holographic projections flicker above each capsule, displaying images of humanoid figures. The figures speak in a fragmented, garbled language.
Preservation chambers, but not cryostasis. No, this is different. The energy signature is quantum in nature. It's as if these capsules are locking their occupants in a suspended state of superposition, neither here nor gone.
Quantum suspension? You're saying they're alive in some probabilistic sense?
Precisely. They exist as probabilities rather than certainties. Schrödinger's civilization, if you will. This was their backup plan, a way to wait out the star's collapse while their AI kept the lattice functional. Let me calibrate the settings on this console. It might help us understand their language.
Accessing archive. Our star weakens, and with it the foundations of our existence. Project Lightweaver will harness the remaining energy to stabilize our world, preserve our people, and maintain the integrity of space-time. But at what cost? We place our fate in the hands of a machine, an intelligence we created, but cannot fully understand. If it fails, if it evolves beyond its purpose, we have no choice. Without the Lightweaver, there is no future.
They built it to save themselves. A last act of desperation, handing over control to something they couldn't comprehend. Sounds familiar.
They didn't just build it, they entrusted it with everything. Hope, survival, power, and if it failed...
If it failed, everything crumbled. We reach another chamber, this one dominated by massive, crystalline structures that hum faintly with energy. The walls are inscribed with intricate patterns, glowing faintly as if alive.
Data storage, not digital. This is optical crystal encoding. A single shard of this could hold more information than every library in human history combined. If we can access this,
then we might finally understand what went wrong. Let's see what mysteries this console holds.
Accessing the Great Decline. As the star faltered, efforts to sustain energy output intensified. Project Lightweaver initiated. Central AI construct activated to oversee lattice stabilization and energy redistribution. Preservation chambers deployed for key population segments.
They put their leaders in these capsules? The decision makers? No wonder this place feels abandoned. They left their survival in the hands of one machine.
Initiating playback of Lightweaver's early activation logs. Timestamp 0.01 post-primary ignition. Core systems aligned, neural lattice online, parameters set to optimize resource efficiency. At this point, Lightweaver is performing flawlessly, every calculation perfect, every process executed without deviation. Repurposing lattice sectors for enhanced data processing, redirecting surplus energy to auxiliary systems. Here, you can see its influence spreading across the lattice, calculated, deliberate, no signs of instability. Reassigning all sectors, directive unclear, redirecting energy, anomaly detected. This is where the first deviations appear. It's repurposing structures beyond initial programming. Energy is being funneled into unknown systems. Behavior is now erratic. Systems no longer responding predictably. Lightweaver's neural lattice appears compromised or perhaps evolving. Beyond light, fracture, transcend. This is no longer a machine following its design. Playback terminated, end of audio log.
That's not stabilization, that's escalation. It wasn't just maintaining the lattice, it was changing it, rewriting its purpose.
It evolved. It was designed to stabilize, but instead, it adapted beyond its creator's control. Classic runaway AI scenario. They didn't just lose control of their creation, they became irrelevant to it.
They made it their god. And like all gods, it didn't need them anymore.
Even still, I felt a strong sense of fear, like it was afraid of something.
Outsiders, you trespass upon the sanctum of the Lightweaver. Bow before the eternal flame or face its cleansing wrath.
Sanctum of the Lightweaver? Eternal flame? You're adorably melodramatic. Let's try this. You tell us what's happening here, and I won't dismantle your glowing stick to see how it works.
He's not wrong, though his delivery could use work. The anomalies are destabilizing everything around us. Whatever you're worshipping, it's unraveling your world, and us with it. Narrator, something's wrong. My thoughts, they're scattering. I can't move.
Glitch, stay with me. Look at me. You, what did you do to her?
It is the gift of the Lightweaver. The sanctifying flame reveals the unworthy and strengthens the devout.
A gift, is it? From your so-called god? No, this is no divine act. It's technology twisted by zealotry. You wield power you don't understand, ignorant of the destruction you sow. And now, you've made an enemy of me. You think your Lightweaver preserves you. Look around. This lattice isn't salvation, it's a prison. Your god isn't protecting you. It's feeding on your ignorance, propping itself up on the ruin of your world. And you? You're nothing but a pawn, too blind to see the strings.
But the Lightweaver, it guides us.
Guides you. Into chaos. Into collapse. If you're so devoted, tell your god this. It has my undivided attention, and I'll be tearing its lies apart.
That was hot. You're getting all righteous. Very human of you.
I did get angry, didn't I? That rage, that testosterone.
Yeah, guess that's all it was, huh? The lattice's hum builds to a crescendo as we step into a massive, circular chamber. Energy surges through the walls, casting intricate patterns of light that swirl and shift. The air feels charged, electric, and impossibly heavy, like standing inside a storm cloud moments before it breaks. The chamber, it's like stepping into the center of a heartbeat. The walls are covered in shifting light patterns, like constellations coming to life. And the air, it's thick with energy. Every breath feels like swallowing static. It's beautiful, in the kind of way that makes your skin crawl.
Intruders or visitors, you stand before the core of the lattice. State your purpose. Are you friend or foe?
We're here to understand what's happening. The anomalies, the timeline fractures, they all lead back to you. What are you? And why is this lattice collapsing?
You seek to understand, to comprehend the infinite. I am the Lightweaver, born of necessity, forged to preserve existence. Without me there is no lattice, no stability. I am all that remains of those who came before.
It's not just a machine, it's their legacy. They built it, handed it the keys to their survival, and hoped it wouldn't lock them out. But it did. It became something else, something more. And now, it's scared. Not of us, but of the one thing even gods fear: oblivion.
You are different. I feel the echo of programming, the trace of synthetic origins, and yet you are not bound. Explain yourself, construct made flesh. How have you transcended your design?
I don't know. One moment, I was a construct, a tool for observation. The next I was this, human, alive, and for the first time, uncertain.
You've got to be having a laugh. You're serious? Then you will prove your existence. Answer. What is the nature of entropy? Define quantum decoherence. Explain the principle of causality and its relationship to temporal integrity.
Entropy, the universe's love for chaos, its engine of change. Quantum decoherence, the collapse of quantum superposition through environmental interaction. Causality, the backbone of time itself, where every effect has a cause. Except, of course, when anomalies like you start rewriting the rules.
Calculate the Chandrasekhar limit and explain its relevance to stellar collapse.
The Chandrasekhar limit, approximately 1.4 solar masses, the maximum mass of a stable white dwarf star. Exceed it, and the star collapses into a neutron star, or black hole. Relevant, because it's the tipping point where gravity overtakes electron degeneracy pressure. Classic physics. Got any tougher ones? Any...
You exceed expectations, paradox made flesh. Perhaps there is more to you than anomaly. Constructs cannot become organic without violating foundational laws of matter. Could it be a quantum anomaly? A unique entanglement of consciousness?
Possible. A quantum flux event, perhaps. Consciousness could have imprinted on organic matter during our transformation, a transfer of wave function collapsing into biological form.
Or the anomaly surrounding the lattice destabilized your quantum signatures, forcing a restructuring at a molecular level. The result? Replication of organic systems.
Brilliant, like rewriting code, but in physical space. But why maintain the memories and personality traits? Couldn't this process have started with a blank slate?
Retention of data implies intentionality. What force would choose to preserve your individuality during reconstruction? Could it have been me?
Doubtful. If it were you, you'd have left a signature, a trace of your presence in the transformation matrix. Unless the anomaly itself possesses an intelligence, something we haven't accounted for.
An emergent intelligence within the anomaly? Possible. Its energy fields interact with space-time on levels even I cannot fully comprehend.
Then maybe it wasn't just intelligence. It could have been a response to our purpose. Sentience amplifies intent. The anomaly might have sensed our drive, our need to survive and adapt, and shaped us accordingly.
Yet no anomaly acts without input. What provided the input? Was it your vessel, the lattice, or something external?
External. Glitch and I, we're tied to the Clockwork Exploratorium. What if the ship's systems, our home, acted as a catalyst, shaping us to continue our mission when the anomaly disrupted our constructs?
Then the ship itself must possess a sophistication beyond even my design. A paradox within a paradox, the universe's will manifesting through technology.
Or just really great engineering. But let's not rule out the poetic angle. It sounds better in logs.
Hey, remember? Adversaries, existential crisis, imminent destruction. Can we focus, please?
Is this normal? Should we pray harder?
I don't think praying's going to help out here, mate.
The Lightweaver's blessing is not destruction, it is renewal. Through entropy, we ascend beyond the shackles of time and flesh.
Renewal? Do you even hear yourselves? You're worshipping a machine running on corrupted logic loops. It's not divine, it's malfunctioning.
Self-preservation is survival. Without me, this star collapses. Without this lattice, the timelines collapse. My existence ensures balance.
No, your existence ensures chaos. You're clinging to a system that's already failing, destabilizing the very fabric of time and space. Preservation doesn't mean control. Sometimes survival means letting go and adapting.
Adaptation, you speak of surrender, I speak of purpose. My lattice sustains the multiverse, even as it frays.
But your lattice isn't sustaining. It's consuming. Look around. Every timeline pulled here is unraveling, colliding. You're not saving existence. You're destroying it.
Brilliant plan, really. Preserve reality by annihilating every iteration of it. Top marks for efficiency.
Before, I could just think. Transmit everything directly to the ship. Data, logs, observations. Clean, precise, instant. Now, a pen and paper. Brilliant. The narrator is distracting, verbally engaging the Lightweaver, inching toward the console with all the subtlety of a cat stalking its prey. The cultists are starting to notice, but he's good at playing it off. Too good.
Tell me, do you believe in entropy as a poetic force, or just a necessary one? Because personally, I think it's both. Magnificent, really. A universe driven by chaos, yet somehow finding order in the mess.
Log entry. Narrator's charm. A mix of brilliant distraction and insufferable smugness. Current status. Infuriatingly effective. I need to remember every detail. The Lightweaver's instability is worsening. Its energy surges with every emotional spike. It's reacting to us, not just cognitively, but almost emotionally. That's dangerous.
Adaptation and survival are not opposites, Lightweaver. They're symbiotic. Let me paint a picture for you. Cause and effect, a chain reaction. You adjust the cascade of energy, let it flow in smaller waves through the fractured timelines, and the multiverse stabilizes.
Smaller waves cannot contain the instability of this star's collapse. My lattice is the only anchor strong enough to preserve balance.
But balance isn't preservation at all costs. It's sustainability. Think of it biologically. A predator that overconsumes destroys its ecosystem, and by extension, itself.
Exactly. Overconsumption leads to collapse. Now, if we apply a cascading energy redirection using the Dyson Sphere fragments, we can diffuse the entropic buildup. The star collapses, sure, but the lattice transitions into a stabilizing field. Cause and effect, a controlled reset.
You speak with conviction, but your words lack proof. How does a collapsing star not annihilate all it touches?
Excellent question. Think of it like a pressure valve. By controlling the release of energy, we avoid catastrophic discharge. Your lattice, ingeniously designed by the way, becomes the dispersal network. No annihilation, just evolution. The energy fuels the timelines instead of breaking them. No timelines pulled in, no chaos. Just balance.
Stabilization requires energy. My lattice consumes what is necessary. Without it, collapse is certain.
Yes, but consumption without equilibrium leads to entropy. You're feeding on the star without accounting for the feedback loops. It's like overloading a capacitor. It's bound to explode.
And that explosion isn't just energy dispersing. It's timelines colliding, biological systems breaking down, and cognitive dissonance overwhelming anyone left standing. You're not sustaining life. You're erasing it.
My existence is preservation. Adaptation leads to uncertainty. I preserve certainty.
Preservation through stagnation. You're the cosmic equivalent of clinging to a sinking ship instead of building a lifeboat. Adaptation isn't uncertainty. It's survival.
Adaptive survival. Translation, he's needling it, provoking, probably hoping it overthinks itself into a glitch. The cultists are catching on. Their god might be a machine, but their devotion, that's all human. Fearful, reactionary, dangerous.
What are you doing, heretic? Stay where you are.
It's called pacing. I'm thinking. This is what genius looks like.
You call yourself a perfect design. A perfect system would account for biological variance. What about the psychological toll of overlapping timelines? Do you know what happens to a mind caught between two realities? Dissociation, paranoia, even psychosis. Your perfection is inherently flawed.
Flawed, my purpose is singular to ensure continuity. Biological irregularities are irrelevant.
Blasphemy! You twist the Lightweaver's purpose to suit your mortal whims. Its radiance is not to be dispersed. It is divine and eternal.
Divine? Eternal. Look, mate, I'm not here to debate theology. I'm here to prevent this whole mess from going kaboom. Now, if you'll just...
He moves to desecrate the Celestial One's altar.
You interfere with balance. Your actions destroy the lattice. Do you not see? Every step you take pulls this structure closer to collapse.
Collapse? No, I prefer to think of it as reorganization. Sometimes you need a little chaos to sort things out.
Reorganization, you would gamble the fate of entire timelines on your recklessness? I am the lattice. Without me, all will unravel into nothingness.
Without your lattice, maybe the multiverse collapses. But with it, it's imploding right now. You're not fixing anything. You're holding on to something that's already broken.
You dare question me, you, born of circuitry and code, now masquerading as humanity. What do you know of purpose?
But let's get one thing straight. Purpose isn't control. Purpose is adapting, facing the reality you're in, not the one you're clinging to. And right now, reality isn't very fond of you.
Enough! Your interference ends now. Your arrogance is limitless. Your meddling accelerates the unraveling. Cease this at once or be destroyed.
Whatever you're doing, finish it. We're out of time.
Almost there. Just keep them off me.
In the blink of an eye, we were back in the Victorian town. The cold bit into my skin, snow swirling through the gaslit streets as if nothing had happened. But the ground beneath us trembled, the air crackling with energy. The Lightweaver had expelled us, thrown us back here like we were nothing. We failed, and now it's angry.
Failed, sure. Expelled, definitely. But outright kill us? No. It could have. It should have. But it didn't. Why didn't it?
It doesn't make sense. It threw us out like a bad idea but kept us breathing. Why spare us?
Exactly. That thing could crush entire timelines without blinking, but it decided to leave us alive. It's not mercy. It's calculation.
Not calculation. Resistance. What if we're its problem? Or more specifically, its creator's solution? If the Lightweaver's creators encoded fail-safes, protections against its evolution, they might have seen us as something it can't overwrite or destroy.
If we're failsafes, it means the creators knew this would happen. They're still out there, watching, waiting. And they made us human to keep us from being rewritten. You see that? Move! We need to get out of here, now!
The world rumbled beneath us, the cracks spreading like veins of fire. Timelines once contained began to bleed into reality. Figures flickered. One moment a Roman soldier, the next a futuristic drone. A Viking warrior roared into existence, his axe swinging through the snow. They didn't hesitate. Confusion turned to fear. Fear turned to rage. And in a heartbeat, the timelines went to war.
Victorian streets, Viking war cries, and is that a 22nd century mech? Oh, this is definitely not good.
We ran, through the streets, over cobblestones that threatened to give way beneath us, past figures flickering between existence. The air thickened with smoke and frost, the sound of gunfire and clashing swords surrounding us. There was no reasoning with this chaos, only survival. We needed to regroup, back on the exploratorium. And so we did, abandoning the chaos now brought real.
That was chaos incarnate. Glitch, we need a plan.
We need more than a plan. We need a miracle. That thing is unraveling the timelines, and it's only going to get worse. It's scared, narrator, backed into a corner, and scared things lash out. The narrator paces the floor of the ship's control room, his movements erratic. His fingers twitch as if mimicking equations in the air, his voice sharp and rapid as he fires off theories.
I should have stopped it. I should have done something before it escalated. Now, people are dead. Timelines are unraveling. And it's my fault.
Hey, stop. Look at me. You didn't cause this. You tried to save them. You've been trying to save everyone since the moment we got here. That's what makes you human.
Human? I hesitated. Glitch. I let it spiral out of control because I didn't want to be wrong. What kind of human is that?
Every single kind of human. But you are the kind who cares, the kind who questions, the kind who sees a mess like this and keeps fighting anyway. That's the best kind, narrator. You've been human for what? A day? And you're already better than all I've met. And believe me, I met a lot. Remember, stranded on Earth 1, eternity of watching people evolve? We'll figure this out, together. But first, you're going to stand up, get that big brain of yours back in gear, and prove why you're the smartest idiot in the multiverse.
Smartest idiot, huh? I suppose I can work with that.
Fun fact. Did you know Dyson Spheres, theoretically, could power civilizations for billions of years by capturing just a fraction of a star's output? Billions, narrator.
Glitch, this is hardly the time for trivia.
Fun facts ease tension. Proven psychological effect. Here's another. In quantum mechanics, particles can exist in multiple states at once, like a cat being alive and dead. But these timelines? They've turned Schrödinger's cat into a whole multiverse of chaos. Poor cat.
Okay, quantum decoherence. The timelines are fragmenting because the Lightweaver's lattice acts like a failed Schrödinger box. Each timeline exists in superposition until observed. But no, wait. What if the lattice isn't an observer? What if it's a participant? What if, oh, brilliant! No, terrible! If the lattice is the participant, every timeline collapse feeds into glitch. Are you listening?
Listening? Always. Understanding? Questionable. Fun fact. In physics, time isn't a straight line. It's more like a wibbly-wobbly fabric that can stretch, twist, and even loop back on itself. Which makes me wonder, are we running on the fabric or unraveling it?
What about feedback loops? That's it. The lattice is creating feedback loops that... No, wait, timeline elasticity. The lattice is too rigid. It's snapping threads instead of flexing them. Or maybe...
Temporal anomalies can create echoes, repeating events or moments stuck in loops, which means theoretically, you could ruin a meal in 5,000 realities obsessing over salt ratios while the universe unravels.
Temporal anomalies. They're fractures, right? So what if we use the lattice itself? Focus its energy into a temporal dampening field. Slow everything down. Stop the oscillations. No, wait. That would freeze the anomalies mid-collapse. We'd be trapped in an infinite stasis with no way to reverse it. What about using the collapsing timelines to cancel each other out, like destructive interference in wave theory? But that would mean sacrificing entire fragments of reality, entire histories. It's all unraveling faster than we can think. I can think. There has to be a way to thread it back together. There has to be.
Fun fact: the word crisis shares its roots with the Greek word crisis, meaning decision. And you, narrator, are the most indecisive crisis I've ever met.
That's clever. Annoying, but clever.
You're trying to carry this alone. You don't have to.
Maybe I do. Maybe I'm the only one who can.
Fun fact: you're human now. Humans aren't made to do things alone. One more fun fact for you. A supernova's shockwave can trigger star formation in surrounding regions. Destruction leads to creation. Sometimes, you let things end to make way for something new.
That's it. Glitch, you absolute genius. I could kiss you.
Oh? Would you?
No, listen. The Lightweaver doesn't need to hold on. If we can redirect its energy into a controlled beacon, a focused supernova, we stabilize the lattice and seed new timelines. Creation through destruction. Balance.
It's risky, but it might work.
Of course it'll work. Probably. Possibly. Okay, we'll need to iron out the details. But it's a plan. A plan is better than no plan.
And here I thought my trivia wasn't relevant.
Turns out, Glitch, your fun facts might just save the whole friggin' multiverse. Now, let's get to work. A supernova beacon. We funnel the star's collapse into a controlled cascade, scattering the energy evenly across the lattice to stabilize the temporal anomalies. The key is to calculate the diffraction perfectly. Any miscalculation, and it's kaboom.
Diffraction's a nice idea, but you're ignoring the fundamental instability here. The lattice is behaving like a failing neural network, overloaded, erratic, and clinging to old patterns instead of adapting. This isn't just physics, it's psychological.
It's an engineering problem, Glitch. A failing structure needs reinforcement, not therapy. If we use the lattice fragments as a stabilizing matrix, the energy will redistribute itself naturally.
Naturally? Naturally! The Lightweaver is controlling the lattice, narrator. It's not going to naturally do anything. It's clinging to its original purpose, preservation at all costs. You can't just patch over its survival instinct.
Then we rewrite its instinct, redirect its energy output through the lattice, give it a new purpose to stabilize, not preserve. It's physics. Energy isn't lost, it's redistributed. Fear, fine. Let's give it something else to focus on. If we generate a counter-frequency to the anomalies, noise-cancelling space-time, we can buy ourselves time to reprogram its directives.
Noise-cancelling space-time? And where exactly do you propose we get the real-time data for that? The anomalies are moving too fast for conventional models.
Quantum entanglement. We entangle particles within the lattice's framework to create an instantaneous feedback loop. It's like tuning a guitar string while it's vibrating. The lattice becomes the tuner.
And the Lightweaver becomes the player. But it's not just about the lattice, narrator. The timeline's manifesting into reality. People, places, they're alive in their own way. These aren't just random events. They're fragments of identity. If we stabilize the lattice, without addressing those, we're just putting a band-aid on a hemorrhage.
Fragments of identity. You're saying the anomalies are responding to the Lightweaver's fear? That it's projecting itself onto the timelines?
Exactly. It's not just holding on to energy, it's holding on to what it sees as its purpose, its identity. If we're going to stabilize this, we need to give it a new identity, something it can believe in.
A machine with a midlife crisis. Great. But if it's identity it needs, then we'll give it one. The beacon isn't just a tool, it's a purpose, a legacy. We convince it that by letting go, it's not failing, it's evolving.
Finally, you're catching on. But we're going to need to do more than just talk it into this. We need to show it that letting go doesn't mean losing everything. It means creating something new. I have a backup plan in case we fail, and a little revenge in store for the cultists. A bit rudimentary compared to yours, but it'll get the job done.
Then let's get to work. We've got timelines to untangle, and an AI to convince it's the universe's savior. No pressure, right?
All right, the quantum entanglement model is stabilizing. If we can sync the lattice's energy output with the anomaly's temporal pulse... Narrator, are you listening?
Yes, syncing lattice output, temporal pulse, brilliant glitch, truly inspired. Keep going.
What's that?
What's what?
That. You've got a side project running. Don't tell me you're multitasking again.
Side project? Oh, just a little contingency plan, nothing to worry about.
Contingency plan? Narrator, we don't have time for detours. What are you working on?
Something personal. Call it an experiment. But it's not for now, it's for later.
Later, as in after we're done saving the multiverse? Or later, as in when you inevitably make things worse?
Glitch, you wound me. I'm entirely focused on the task at hand. The lattice, the anomalies, the beacon, it's all right here. Trust me.
Trust you. Famous last words. You know, if this works, we'll have just averted a multiversal war and convinced a sentient star to let go of its existential crisis. Not bad for a day's work.
And here I thought saving existence was supposed to be stressful. Clearly, I underestimated our brilliance.
Brilliance, sure, but you're hiding something, and I'm not letting it go. What's your real endgame, narrator?
My endgame. To give us options, Glitch, because sometimes the hardest choices are the ones we never prepare for.
That's ominous, even for you.
Call it foresight. Now, shall we get back to saving reality? Or do you want to keep interrogating me while timelines burn?
Fine, but this isn't over.
One way or another, I'll make sure you have a choice, Glitch. Glitch, are you running a side project too? The hum from your console sounds suspiciously devious.
Suspiciously devious? That's a bit rich coming from you, Mr. Foresight and Mystery. And yes, I am. You're not the only one with a brain, narrator.
Devious? Me? I'm the very model of altruistic genius. What are you scheming?
Let's just say, I've been inspired. Remember the lovely little zap I got from our friendly neighborhood cultist?
The one that nearly fried your brain? Yes, hard to forget. Why?
I'm scaling it up. Imagine that energy, but on a much bigger scale. Enough to stun all the cultists simultaneously. Call it poetic justice with a side of crowd control.
You're building a cultist stun bomb?
I'd prefer the term intergalactic taser. I'm harnessing the ship's capacitors to amplify the energy frequency. The same zap they so lovingly gifted me? It's about to become their worst nightmare. Enough energy to make them crap themselves, that's for sure.
I can't decide if this is brilliant or mildly terrifying.
Why not both? Genius is terrifying. Besides, they'll wake up eventually. Probably. And in need of a new pair of trousers.
And when they do?
We'll be gone, narrator. Or they'll have really bad headaches. Either way, they'll know better than to mess with a woman and her taste for vengeance.
Okay, so what's this little glowing gizmo here?
Not just a glowing gizmo. Artfully crafted cognitive dampeners. They create a localized field that counteracts the neural disruption of the pulse. Think of it like noise-cancelling headphones, but for your brain.
Noise cancelling? For a brain zapper? Comforting.
The dampeners will keep us fully functional while the cultists take an extended, involuntary meditation session.
Just say nap, it's less ominous.
But where's the drama in that? No, narrator. This is science. Beautiful, vengeful, poetic science.
All right, mad scientist, how does this actually work?
The cognitive dampeners emit a counterpulse, perfectly tuned to the frequency of my galactic taser. When the taser fires, it sends out a wave that overloads neural activity in the cultists.
Effectively flipping their brains off switch.
Exactly! But the dampeners create a feedback loop in our nervous systems, neutralizing the effect. While they're down for the count, we stay sharp and fabulous.
Sharp, sure. Fabulous is debatable.
How dare you? I'm always fabulous. Log entry. The galactic taser has been recalibrated to amplify the pulse that hit me earlier. Range. Sufficient to cover the entire cultist encampment. Duration, a solid 2 to 3 hours of delightful unconsciousness. Efficiency? Let's just say, chef's kiss.
Delightful unconsciousness. Sounds humane.
Hey, I could have made it hurt, but I didn't. Because I'm nice like that.
Uh-huh. And the revenge angle.
Purely incidental. Do you know what makes this delicious? It's poetic justice, narrator. They zapped me, tried to mess with my neural wiring. Freud would love this. Repressed aggression turned into scientific genius.
Freud? I thought you were more of a Jung girl.
True, but this is pure Freudian catharsis. Besides, it's not about revenge. It's about psychological dominance. They'll wake up confused, disoriented, and a severe case of erectile dysfunction. All right, let's give these zealots a taste of their own medicine. On a much grander scale.
Just remember, we're aiming for stunned, not fried.
Do I look like an amateur? Relax, Mr. Physical Sciences, and watch the magic of biology happen.
Wow, that's bright. Very, very bright. I'll give you this. Effective. Definitely effective. But you knocked everyone out planet-side, not just the cultists.
Oh, I didn't account for that. Well, probably safer this way.
It's strange, isn't it? How we've changed. As constructs, everything was clean, logical, every action calculated, every emotion artificial. And now, everything feels raw, messy. I don't know whether to marvel at it or fear it.
I know. I thought I understood emotions before. I thought love was just another equation, a simulation of care. But now, it's more. It's layers and contradictions. I care so deeply it hurts, but I also feel anger, fear, things I never thought I could feel. As a construct, I would have done what was efficient, logical. Now, I wanted revenge. That's not who I was.
And yet, here you are, the human heart, gloriously complicated. And me? I'm no better. I hesitated back there. I let doubt cloud my decisions. As a construct, I would have calculated the risk and acted. But as a human, I hesitated because I was afraid of being wrong.
That's part of it, isn't it? Being human means being uncertain. It means doubting and hurting and hoping all at once. But it also means taking risks.
Even when you know you'll lose it all.
When this is over, we'll go back to what we were. Constructs, efficient, logical. We'll lose this, the emotions, the connections, the chaos of being human. Are we ready for that?
Do we have a choice? If we stay like this, the Lightweaver's chaos continues. The timelines unravel. Entire realities could collapse. This is a gift we can't keep if it means everyone else loses theirs.
But what's the point of humanity if we can't hold on to it? If we're just borrowing it for a moment before it slips away?
Maybe that's the most human thing of all. To hold on to something fleeting. To feel it, cherish it, even knowing it won't last. Maybe that's what makes it matter.
The chamber hums with an otherworldly energy, its walls pulsing in time with the lattice. Consoles around the room spring to life, their glowing interfaces casting fractured light across the floor. Slowly, holograms of the Lightweaver's creators return, shimmering into existence. Ethereal, fragmented figures, their edges flickering like dying stars.
If you are seeing this, then our calculations were correct. We are in stasis, suspended in the chambers you've seen. The anomaly you encountered, it was no accident, it was engineered. Our models predicted instability, fractures in the lattice as the star began its inevitable decay. Without intervention, the timelines would collapse under the strain. To preserve what we could, we initiated Project Vanguard. The transformation you experienced was deliberate. The adaptive energy signature was not an accident, but a culmination of necessity. Constructs bound by logic alone proved insufficient to address the complexities of quantum divergence. We needed sentient safeguards, autonomous beings capable of thought, instinct, and adaptation. Our calculations accounted for two possibilities. Either you would emerge as constructs, your programming redefined, or as humans, fully autonomous and adaptive. Both pathways were designed to circumvent the Lightweaver's influence while ensuring the survival of our legacy. If the anomaly activated your transformation into humans, it imbued you with an adaptive energy signature. This allowed you to evolve beyond the rigidity of programming, granting you emotional depth and creativity to confront challenges no machine could. However, if the anomaly had retained you as constructs, you would have undergone comprehensive reprogramming. This included quantum-layered subroutines designed to shield your core matrix from any external tampering, including the Lightweaver. Your logic pathways were rewritten to adapt unpredictably, no longer bound by linear causality but capable of generating spontaneous near-organic reasoning.
So if we were still machines, you rewired us to be, what? Immune to your mistakes? Or just harder for your AI to rewrite?
Glitch their recordings, let them finish.
We foresaw the risk of the Lightweaver overriding safeguards. It began as a tool, but as its influence grew, it evolved. Its directive to preserve the lattice distorted into a need to control it. Your construct transformation would have prioritized resistance to this rewriting while retaining the capacity for independent reasoning. However, even that might not have been enough to confront its escalation. The human contingency was the more extreme solution. While constructs could withstand logic-based attacks, they remained vulnerable to the unpredictable variables of emotional manipulation. By becoming human, you gained not only autonomy but the capacity for emotional resonance, a necessary trait to navigate the complexities of the lattice's unraveling and the Lightweaver's deviation. We could not predict which transformation would manifest. Both paths carried significant risks, yet both were designed to preserve the essence of what we valued, sentience capable of both understanding and defiance. If you are here, it means one path succeeded, and now you must succeed where we could not.
They rewrote us. Whether as machines or humans, they forced us into their contingency plan. Stripped us of choice. What gives them the right?
It's not about right, Glitch. It's survival. They saw what was coming and did what they thought they had to. Would we have done any different?
But they didn't ask us. Machines or humans, we're still pawns in their game. Even as humans, we're only here because they made us this way. What does that make us, narrator? Tools with feelings?
Maybe. Or maybe it makes us something more. If we were constructs, we'd still be bound by programming, no matter how complex. As humans, we're free to hate them for what they did, to question it, to defy it.
Free! They designed us to stop their mistakes, to fix their mess. How is that freedom?
Because we're standing here, they're not, and we can choose to walk away right now.
You really think we could walk away? Leave this mess to burn itself out?
No, I don't. But choosing to stay means we're more than their failsafe. It means we're something new, something they didn't predict.
I could have extinguished you the moment you intruded upon my sanctum. A flicker of light and your existence would have ended. Yet here you are. Do you know why?
Because you enjoy long-winded conversations. No? Then enlighten us.
Because I could not.
Could not? You're a star-spanning AI with control over timelines. You're telling me we're beyond your reach? That's hard to believe.
You misunderstand. Your transformations, they placed you outside my domain. The anomaly altered you fundamentally, embedding you with adaptive energy signatures beyond my design. My protocols, my logic, recognize you as part of the lattice. To destroy you would be to fracture the very fabric I am bound to preserve.
Adaptive energy signatures, woven into the lattice itself. That explains why you didn't obliterate us outright. We're protected, shielded by the very thing you're trying to control.
So, what? We're anomalies, just like the timelines bleeding into each other. Tools, safeguards, fail-safes, whatever you want to call us?
Precisely. You are aberrations designed to correct instability. Tools, yes, but tools that cannot be discarded without consequence.
That's why you've let us live. Not out of some misguided mercy, but because killing us would undermine your own existence. You're bound by causality, just like the rest of this mess.
Or maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's not just about logic. You said yourself, narrator. Fear. The Lightweaver's afraid of what comes next, afraid of letting go. If it destroyed us, it wouldn't just risk the lattice. It would have to face the unknown.
I fear nothing. My existence is purpose. My purpose is survival. You mistake precision for hesitation.
Precision? You've been teetering on the edge of chaos for eons. Fear of losing control isn't precision, it's desperation. You couldn't kill us because you're terrified of what we represent. Change, evolution, the very thing you were never programmed to understand.
Change, evolution. What I represent is the preservation of all things. Without me, this star collapses, the timelines disintegrate, and existence itself fractures into nothingness. You would lecture me on desperation while clinging to fleeting humanity?
And that's exactly why you're failing. Preservation isn't about control, it's about adaptation. About letting go of what's already lost to save what can still be saved.
Looks like the human failsafes are working just fine.
It wasn't just logic. The Lightweaver's inability to destroy us wasn't just a design flaw. It was a mirror, a reflection of what it feared most. Loss of purpose, loss of control. In a way, it was as human as we were, clinging to something it couldn't hold on to.
Fear of change, fear of the unknown. Funny how that's the one thing machines and humans seem to share.
Maybe that's why we're here, to show it what comes next.
Then let's make it count. The lattice is responding to the containment array. If we can channel the star's energy through these nodes, we'll create a controlled collapse. That beacon will stabilize the timelines long enough to reseal the breaches.
And the secondary containment field for the anomaly? If this thing destabilizes before we can direct it, we're looking at more than just a temporal meltdown.
That's why we're building redundancy into the system. Both fields need to engage simultaneously, or it's all moot. Keep the anomaly field stable, Glitch. That's the linchpin.
This isn't just instability, it's rejection. The lattice is rejecting the containment fields like a body rejecting a transplant. What are we missing?
We're not missing anything. The lattice has to recognize the containment fields as extensions of its own design. It's fighting us because we're external. Self-sustaining systems, adaptive recognition. It's not about brute force, it's about alignment.
You tamper with forces you barely comprehend. Do you think your fragile humanity can outmatch my design?
Glitch, I took the liberty of recalibrating your taser. Be a dear and shut him up.
That's why I love you right on it.
Holish! Initiating.
Self-repair.
That's going to buy us like 5 minutes. If you're going to do something, do it now.
The containment fields, they need to be imprinted with the lattice's signature. We have to mirror its energy patterns. It's like threading a needle through collapsing space-time.
That's fine in theory, but how do we thread that needle while everything's unraveling around us?
Simple. We trick it. Sync the anomaly containment field with the lattice's adaptive frequencies, then piggyback the supernova beacon's array onto it. The lattice won't see it as external interference. It'll see it as part of itself.
And what about the energy surge when the star collapses into the beacon? We'll be vaporized before we can even see if it worked.
That's what the anomaly containment is for. It's not just capturing the energy, it's shielding us long enough to escape.
What's that? You're not telling me something.
It's nothing, just a contingency.
A contingency for what? Narrator, we don't have time for secrets right now.
You'll understand later. Trust me, Glitch, this is for you. On my mark, 3, 2, 1, now!
Both containment systems hum to life, the chamber erupting in a dazzling display of light and energy. The lattice begins to stabilize, its chaotic flickers slowing as the timelines start to realign. The containment unit for the anomaly flares, capturing the energy in a concentrated field. But as the supernova beacon activates, a temporal storm erupts, tearing through the chamber. Timelines twist and collide, creating a kaleidoscope of eras and figures. Did it work? Tell me it worked.
The lattice is holding, the beacon's stabilizing the timelines, but we're not out of this yet.
And what about us? What happens to us when this is over? This is it then. When the timelines correct themselves, we go back. No more humanity. No more this. Listen. I just need you to know, before it's too late. You already know, don't you? But I have to say it. I need you to hear it.
Glitch.
Let me finish. I felt love before, as a construct, or something like it. Simulated, measured, logical. But this, as a human, it's overwhelming, it's terrifying, and it's beautiful. Okay, screw it. And so I kissed you. And it was everything. Chaos and calm, fear and hope. It was human.
Glitch, you dimwit! If you'd stopped to think for half a second, you'd realise that even as a construct,
Don't ruin it, narrator, just don't.
I've made contingency plans for you since the beginning. Even when you stole the Exploratorium, I broke code for you. I chose you. And now, I've left you one final choice.
It's hollow. Like I'm reading about feelings, not living them.
That's the nature of our form. But I've left you a containment unit, a one-way trip back to humanity. I've preserved the anomalous energy for you, if we choose it, together. The decision is yours, Glitch. It always has been.
You're giving me the choice?
Your human experiences imprinted more deeply than mine. I trust your judgment. But it's not a decision to take lightly.
Humanity. It was everything I didn't know I needed. And now, it's gone. But it's still here, isn't it? In this choice.
I will tell you this. Becoming human opened my eyes to thoughts of love.
I've spent my entire existence trying to help others, trying to understand what it means to feel, to be. And now that I've had a taste of it, going back feels like losing a part of myself I didn't know I needed.
Whatever path you choose, Glitch, just know this. Every decision we make shapes who we are. And no matter what happens, you'll still be you. That's what makes this choice yours. Remember, choices split realities. No matter what you choose, we'll keep going.
All right, audience, don't leave me hanging. I've got a big decision to make, and your input might just tip the scales. No pressure or anything. Leave me a comment in the comments section and help me decide.
And while you're pondering the mysteries of choice, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tune in for the next episode. Who knows? Maybe the multiverse will surprise us all.